Hi, I'm Margaret Miller Guide. Thank you for joining me today for some balance work. Balance work is something you do on the fly. You might be in line at the grocery store, you might be in between calls at work. At this level of balance, you should be feeling, fairly confident to not always have chairs on either side of you. But, if you are in that situation where that they're available, you might have your kitchen counter, you might be waiting for the kettle to boil, so it's not something you have to go get all your gym gear on, but rather throw in a minute here and a minute there, because, few minutes a day of balance work and your balance will improve dramatically. And it can make a big difference in saving you from a fall. So this sequence is all about single leg work. And a progression to single leg is single leg with toe touch. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is just that. Standing with your feet hip width apart in a really nice tall posture. Your knees are soft. Your pelvic floor is gently engaged, which helps you engage your deep abdominals. And you're thinking of stacking your shoulders over your hips, your ears over your shoulders. So you're thinking really tall and long through your alignment. Always come back to this anytime you're going to work on your posture, because it's just reminding your body to come into this posture in which our spine itself is most balanced. We're holding that 11 pounds of head right over our spine. So let's begin and just toe touch with one foot behind. Now, having our hands out like a tightrope walker is going to be the easiest position for balance. And we're going to work through a sequence of eye and head moves. But by all means, you could do it with your arms outstretched like this. Once you have mastered all the eye and head movements with your arms outstretched, having your hands on your pelvis is going to be a little bit less helpful, but more stable than bringing your hands all the way to heart center. So each one takes away that ability to counterbalance with your arms. So here you still get a little bit of elbow work that you can do. So with this, take the position with arms open, and if you're feeling like you're not challenged enough, then by all means just change your arm position. So we're going to start with our head very still, but movement of the eyes. All right, we're going to start drawing our snowflakes with our eyes. So nose stays pointing forward the whole time. You can stay with your face facing me, and just move your eyes up and down and up and down. Good. 2 rounds of each. To the side, other side, side, and side. Good. We're going to move the eyes up and down diagonal, up diagonal and down diagonal, and opposite and down, and opposite and down. Good. If you need a little breather in between, take it. Now we're going to move our head, but keep our eyes still. So stay focused on me as you move your head up and down and up, keeping your balance. Good job. You're going to feel a lot more challenging through the ankles, through your feet. Your toes are going to try to hang on, side to side. Nice job. And now we're going diagonal and bottom, diagonal up and bottom. We're going to go to the opposite corner, finish our snowflake up and down and up and down. Nicely done. Back to neutral. Well done. That's a lot of work, and so anytime you're working through that sequence, if you feel that you need to bring the whole foot down behind you, obviously if you needed to do it, you would have done it. And so we're going to take everything to the opposite side now. And don't be surprised if you find that your right foot and left foot is so very different. Oftentimes, when I'm testing individuals and they have a significant difference in their balance from one foot to the other, we'll bring up topics like, did you ever sprain your ankle ever in your life? Because if you never rehabilitated your little joint receptors from an old injury at the ankle or the knee or the hip, they don't forget. And so you're going to, bring back and be able to rehabilitate these little receptors even from very old injuries. So be patient, make modifications that you need to succeed with both legs. All right, so with the other foot in a toe touch position, so you're on the balls of your feet, so on the back foot, and once again, starting with your arms out to either side, or if as you go along feel like you're feeling very stable and just want to bring your hands to heart center or to your hips, whatever feels right for you, that you're feeling the challenge, but you're succeeding in maintaining this single leg stance. Ideally, working towards being able to do all of this on just one leg. So all the while, the other thing to keep in mind is the positioning of your pelvis. So as you're transferring more weight on your supported hip, you don't want that hip to be hiking up, which means that that muscle's not doing its job. So you're really wanting to keep that alignment all the way through. If you're finding that that is being compensated, then just take a little bit more weight through your supporting leg until you're take a little bit more weight through the toe touch leg until the leg that you're standing on has developed enough strength. When we get into single leg work, you really notice a big difference between strength in different legs, whether it be around your knee, your ankle, or your hip. So be patient with yourself, work with good form, and let's go right into our eye and head work with the opposite position. All right, nice tall posture, gaze is straight ahead. All right, we're going to start drawing our snowflakes with our eyes. So nose stays pointing forward the whole time. You can stay with your face facing me, and just move your eyes up and down and up and down. Good. 2 rounds of each to the side, other side, side, and side. Good. We're going to move the eyes up and down diagonal, up diagonal and down diagonal, and opposite and down, and opposite and down. Good. If you need a little breather in between, take it. Now we're going to move our head, but keep our eyes still. So stay focused on me as you move your head up and down and up, keeping your balance. Good job. You're going to feel a lot more challenging through the ankles, through your feet. Your toes are going to try to hang on, side to side. Nice job. And now we're going diagonal and bottom, diagonal up and bottom. We're going to go to the opposite corner, finish our snowflake up and down and up and down. Nicely done. Back to neutral. Well done. Now, as we progress from our toe touch position, we can stay in toe touch while we're developing strength through the hips, but just modifying what we're standing on. So often when I'm teaching this in a yoga class, my clients that are challenged even in their tree pose, they might step off of their mat. Even that one layer of yoga mat is enough to make a difference in terms of stability. Or they might actually fold their mat in two to make it a little bit more challenging. So if you have access to a yoga mat, folding, starting with 1 layer and then 2 and then 4, and just keep folding your yoga mat to challenge your stability. And that's a great way, you could just take everything that we just did and repeat it, but with different layers underneath your feet. Once you've mastered toe touching, then it's time to just, get rid of the toe touching and just go right into single leg stance. So with single leg stance, I'm going to move this chair out altogether. You're now into placing your foot on the line, and important is that the leg that you've lifted is not touching the supporting leg. So it's not touching the ground anymore. You want your knee and your foot ideally pointing straight ahead. So you have a few exercises that you can start doing where you're even just preparing for this. And one of them is just a gentle lift and lower. And so you can start by letting the foot touch down in between, keeping your pelvis nice and level as you do all of this, and then gradually progress to where you're just barely touching. You're just kind of grazing. So you're progressing slowly into the single leg stance and building that strength through your supporting leg. Now, from the flexion, the forward movement of the leg, we can go into the outside movement of the leg. So going into abduction or abduction, so having the arms out and leg out to the side. And once again, you can progress from just touching down. And what you want to gradually do is not touch down. And then we go into extension, so straight back. Now extension is only about 15 degrees of our hips, so as long as we're keeping everything straight, there won't be a lot of motion back. And again, feeling free to touch down in between as you build up the endurance to do your single leg work. Now I'm going to come and switch to the opposite side. And a sequence that I have in Exercise for Better Bones, which I quite like, and I'm going to move forward away from the stool, is to sequence the flexion, abduction, extension movement into one. So we're going to go forward, to the side, and back, and forward, side, and back. Remembering that where you put your hands, again, is the variable that you get to play with for your balance. And even what you end up doing with your head if you're looking from side to side, or you're closing one eye. So all of these are great things to incorporate as you work on improving and strengthening your balance. And then eventually seeing if you can do this with shadow eyes, or even with eyes closed all together. I'll just do one more. So that you're always feeling that challenge, but totally able to succeed through. Certainly increasing the number of repetitions that you do that sequence will increase your challenge. And how many yoga mats you choose to, or layers of yoga mat you have under your feet will increase the challenge as well. So yeah, I hope you have fun with those. They're great balance and hip strengthening exercises. Thanks for joining me today.